This week, Tarantino movies, vampires, schoolyard economics, and nudity in video games. This is Modern Retro. Welcome back to Modern Retro.
You were expecting me to say, I know what you were expecting me to do.
Yeah, I was expecting you to ruin the take.
I wasn't gonna. I let it sit. I wanted to, but I let it.
Yeah, well,
let it ride.
I'm sure there's many other takes that you will ruin. Like I said, welcome to Modern Retro. I am Cuba. I'm joined by the Roy right here in our beautiful dank dungeon.
What's up, guys?
And the angry-looking Aaron across the interwebs.
Hi.
Ooh. Look at the rage in his eyes. He's all upset.
He looks like the Mothman.
Quentin Tarantino is one of the greatest directors of all time, and you suck for not appreciating his works.
Are we rehashing something that we just lost 7-8 minutes
I summed it up.
of conversation?
I summed it up.
I think he's closer to M. Night Shyamalan than you think. I think
Oh,
he's
God.
got some. I think he's got some hits, but I also think he has some misses.
I feel he's Look, I'm not saying that his movies are bad. I'm just saying, first of all, he's a one-trick pony because everything is this goddamn same, and he doesn't seem to know how to end things. I just feel like, and I know the end, like finding an ending is the most difficult part of something.
Which, in I will argue, Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, the abrupt, fucked up ending to those movies made the movies feel really good because it made you feel like every time I show somebody Pulp Fiction, they don't know what to do because there's the ending of it. You know everything that else happens, and then you kind of go like, "Oh, that's it." Like it feels like you've just experienced the most fucked up day of your life.
And I think that gave him like this odd sense of that's how he needs to end every movie because every movie ends with this like abrupt, fucked up like ending.
He got known for that, just like M. Night Shyamalan got known for, every movie has to have a big twist. You know,
some of the movies that like you absolutely need to see, you haven't seen, and because my influence isn't there to force it upon you.
I didn't see Django, and I didn't see Hateful Eight. I've seen everything else.
Django is like one of the best. It's one of the best.
But the last 45 minutes aren't needed. They're just not. You would have
the last 45 minutes have the amazing gunfight at the end.
But
Fuck yourself.
You could have wedged that in as the climax. Instead of I don't know, man. That thing.
That
just
was the
doesn't
climax.
Work. No, it just doesn't work. Because did we just lose him again?
No, he's still there.
Hateful Eight. Did you see Hateful Eight?
I didn't get to see Hateful Eight yet.
See, to me, that was like meant to be a mystery. It's like a clue whodunit, you know. But it did not stick the landing for me. I hated it.
Well, I'll watch it and see if I see what you mean, but every movie, upon rewatching and continual rewatching over the years, his movies only get better and better, and you like see all the little intricacies, and it's great.
Yeah, but
see, I'll disagree. Like I'll watch his movies, but I don't feel like they get better and better. I don't feel like I get a new insight on it every time. I've seen Pulp Fiction 1,000,000 times. I've seen Reservoir Dogs a good amount of times. I've only seen Kill Bill once. I've seen Death Proof twice. Once.
You'll pick up on
Glorious Bastards I've watched like 3 or 4 times, but I'm not sitting here like everything always comes back to Star Wars for us. I can sit down and watch Star Wars and come up with a completely new thought process, insight into something just by a facial expression on someone's face. Where on his movies, they're entertaining. They're entertainment, but like I don't get new insight on them.
See, I'm with you on that because while his movies are very good for the most part, like you said, with Star Wars or a lot of other franchises, every time I watch it, I can think of, like you said, some new theory or something like that. With his, you just kind of pick up on more little Easter eggs. Like he does tend to pack those in to intertwine his films and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you'll pick up on something like that a year later that you didn't notice the first time you saw it. But there's no like mind-blowing epiphany.
Because he's not into character development.
Well, I wouldn't say he's not into character development, but
All his
he's
movies
very-
is
he's-
about character. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's very much into.
I don't know, like, he's showing us the characters. He's telling us their stories. But I feel like
Well, here's the difference.
he's not building up, I mean, with the exception of Kill Bill, I would say, he's not building up this, like, previous history of the characters we're watching. We're just watching them in the here and now.
Well, here's the thing: is that usually we hate exposition in films. We like to try to figure out things for ourselves. Leave a little bit of mystery. We can put the pieces together as an audience. Respect us as an audience, right? We can agree on that one.
Yeah, we're not.
We like it when
we're
that
not
happens.
Stupid. We don't watch Michael Bay movies and like them.
We don't need constant exposition. But Quentin Tarantino kind of made his character, since it's all so dialogue heavy, it's all exposition, which works because it's so dialogue heavy, but he's constantly feeding us every step of the way. You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe that's where some of that comes from. That weird feeling when you watch it. I mean, again, not bad. He's not a bad director, but I just feel like his last couple movies kind of just missed the mark a little bit.
Did you see
I love how he talks differently. Is that what you're going to bring up?
what?
Oh, yeah, how when he went on, like, BET and was, like, talking to, like, black people.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Dude,
That's not what I was going to bring up.
he just
but
started talking, like, wicked ebonics, like, he's leaning back, like, yeah, what's up, man? What's up? And then when he went on, like, The Tonight Show or something like that. He was very prim and very enunciated every word. He was as white as can be. Like,
He definitely thinks that he's, like, a black dude, or at least an honorary black dude.
Yeah.
You can totally see that. Like, he thinks he has, like, the N-word free card. Yeah. Clearly, because he's got so much of it in his movies.
Every movie, I think he fucking wrote.
But I was going to say, we've all seen From Dusk Till Dawn, the movie, right?
Years and years and years ago. So much I don't even fucking remember.
That wasn't him, but he was in it. And his
He didn't produce that?
he didn't. Nope. He was just. Let's see. He wrote the. Well, he says wrote the screenplay. He acted in it, but his buddy Robert Rodriguez directed that one. Have you seen the show, the From Dusk Till Dawn show?
No.
It's fucked up. I think
can
it's
imagine.
on Netflix. Well, it's weird because the first From Dusk Till Dawn, although not just like a Tarantino movie, Robert Rodriguez is like the Spanish version of Quentin Tarantino. He's got good movies.
Dusk Till Dawn's own the strippers on the table, and he makes her. She makes him drink like beer off her leg or something like that. Or
And
like
they're all
tequila.
vampires.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
part of it, but I'm trying to. There's so many vampire movies that came out in like a very small stretch of time.
Well, this was like '96. This was like before the big vampire.
Well,
push.
I don't mean like Twilight, but there
Oh,
was a
okay.
time where, you had like Interview with a Vampire, you had Dusk Till Dawn, you had a whole bunch of them that came out.
Yeah, but I guess you could call it the first renaissance of vampires because Interview with the Vampire, Dusk Till Dawn, and then I'll throw Blade in there. Those are all like vampire movies that came out around the same time, but they were fucking cool and violent. And then we had like the era of Twilight and all these vampires that can go out during the day. But God damn it, that's a rant for another day. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just saying, do yourself a favor. I never actually got to even finish it. I got 4 episodes in, and it was fucked up, and then I just forgot to get back to it. But the movie itself, it's got its own narrative. Beginning, middle, end. But the show, it's one of those things where they take a movie and they stretch it for like television purposes.
In a good way, or
For far too long.
Well, again, I think it's like got 2 or 3 seasons. I only watched like the first 4 episodes of the first
so it's the actual
season.
plot of the movie itself.
Yeah, it's George Clooney and Tarantino's characters. Obviously, everybody's recast because they're not going to get Harvey Keitel and George Clooney to come and do this again. But it's their characters. At the beginning of the movie is how they were like bank robbers or something like that, and they hijacked the RV with the family in it. Mm-hmm. Well, the first like 2 episodes is like that backstory of their heist gone bad and them on the run.
See, like Walter White just like, I am the one that knocks.
Yeah, and then they I didn't even get to the vampire thing. I got 4 episodes in. I didn't even get to the vampire thing, but I do want to get back to the show because it is so fucked up. Because the Tarantino's character, the demented brother that likes to like just kill people and has anger issues, he keeps seeing like demons and shit. That wasn't in the movie. Like in the movie, he was just an asshole who had anger issues. But like in this one, he keeps like seeing like he'll look at normal people and then they'll flash and they'll be like some sort of demon. It's like totally not a vampire unless this is what vampires look like in the show, and it's just fucking really weird, really fucking violent. You can see there's like a whole bunch of like different plots and stuff going on in this, and I'm like, if this show is good, goddamn, someone needs an applause for just like taking this throwaway fun movie and stretching a fucking, they're rolling it out like dough and making a pizza out of this fucking thing.
I don't know. I had my fill with really fucked up vampires after True Blood. I don't need to see anything after True Blood. True Blood turned me off by the end.
True Blood was good for like the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then it got stupid. It got just so stupid. As soon as they had the were-panthers, I was like, done. I can deal with vampires. I can deal with shapeshifters. I can deal with werewolves. I can even grasp the fairy thing. But were-panthers. What the fuck is the point of a were-panther?
Werebears.
Yeah, well, that's what they implied. They go, oh, were isn't just, specifically for wolves. It's like, anything can be a were anything. It's like, oh, come on, man.
But see, what is it? Lycanthropy? Is that the actual term? Lycanthropy?
I think so.
Lycans are supposed to be the werewolves. That's like a very specific strain or what, you know what I mean? Like it only came from wolves.
Yeah.
Come on, keep it pure at least.
And the stupid thing about the were-panther storyline was that you don't even turn into one. Like, he gets bit by the were-panther and stuff. He's like, oh, I'm going to turn into one, And she's like, no, it doesn't work that way. And I'm like, that's even more of a waste.
That's the whole point. Yeah. You get bit, or can you get scratched by one and then you turn to?
A were-panther or werewolf?
No, werewolf.
I think a werewolf, yeah. It's like if you... Yeah, I think any sort of like...
Draws blood?
Yeah, something like that. I think it depends on the mythology, but...
Man, I hate to be turned into a were-butterfly.
Right? You're just like a were-mosquito.
You get the were-aids and then it turns into werewolves.
I didn't even finish True Blood. The last episode I saw was when Billith came out of the puddle of blood, and I'm like, yeah, well, this show just fucking lost me.
Say Billith or Lilith?
Billith, because they had the storyline for... Spoilers for anybody who's into True Blood and hasn't gotten this far yet, but the whole thing is, what I like is that they went into like the backstory in the history of the vampires, and supposedly like the first vampire, I think, or the vampire god was like Lilith from the Bible.
In every ancient religion, there's always some sort of... In every ancient white person religion, I'll say, there's always an evil person named Lilith somewhere.
Right. So they worship her blood, like a vial her blood, but I don't think nobody ever takes from it or anything like that. It's forbidden. They don't know what will happen to it. So Bill, at the end, he like takes the whole vial and he drinks the whole vial of her blood, and then he melts into a poor puddle of CG goo. And everyone's like, oh my god, Bill's dead.
It's like the Secret Adventures of Alex Mack.
And then he emerges like from the goo pile all naked and like with godlike powers. And I'm assuming he goes to kill everybody because it ends. And I was just like, no, I'm done. I like this show when it was just like a mysterious vampires and... Well, I like the concept that the vampires had come out because synthetic blood became available.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
They revealed themselves to the world. Then I like that you slowly find out that there are other things out there that haven't revealed themselves. Mm-hmm. They don't want to reveal themselves. And the inner workings of the vampire culture and world, that was all cool. I liked all of that in that show. But then it just got so stupid, and Sookie is sleeping with everybody. And it's like, who are you? Are you with Bill? Are you with Eric? Are you with... What is going on?
I didn't know Snooki was in that show. That's the little girl from Jersey
No. That's the girl from Jersey Shore.
That's Snooki.
Snooki. This is Sookie.
Oh, whatever.
the rogue from X-Men.
From the X-Men movies.
Oh, okay.
And you see her boobs a lot in it. She, like I said, she has sex with every fucking character in this fucking show.
See, that's when when you have like have to have a lot of sex in a show, that your show doesn't hold together a lot.
I won't say that, because that had some of the coolest, weirdest sex. Like because vampire blood is like a drug. It's the new crystal meth or something like that. All you need is one drop and you trip balls. So they had like these two characters and it's addictive. So they got addicted to the vampire blood and they had sex.
I suck your dick for a cheeseburger, man.
They had sex on the vampire blood, and it shows what they see, and they're floating in the clouds, and there's butterflies, and they're fucking like, "Woo, this is amazing and beautiful." But then it cuts to what's actually happened, and they're on a bed, and they're like, ah. It's just like the ugliest, real sex.
And it has like some of the most. And it has some like the most fucked up actual vampire sex, because like they're throwing each other against the walls, and then one person like snaps the other one's neck and twists it around, but they're still alive because they're a vampire. But
right, he's like going at her from behind, so he twists her head around so she's facing him while he's hitting her from behind.
Because he doesn't want her to look at her or look at him.
It's like, what the fuck?
Superfluous. Come on, man. Can just get him do it in front of a mirror. Wait,
and like blood's pouring out of the mouth.
Because you're a vampire and you can.
Yeah.
And like the violence was crazy, but worked within the context of the show. But just the show slowly got not even stupid. It got silly.
Oh,
it just got.
That's the worst.
I can get it if a show gets stupid because they're like. Running out of material, but when they just get silly, it's like, come on.
The movie that I really liked that had to deal with vampires, that had a cool premise, and I remember liking it like halfway through, and then something happened. I can't remember. It's been a few years. Was 30 Days of Night?
Oh yeah. That was cool. That was a cool one.
They had like all these crazy sharp teeth. They were monsters.
That was based on a graphic novel.
Yes, they weren't like these suave. Talking like, ooh, I'm gonna woo you and sleep with you. No, they were just these fucking voracious piranha-like blood monsters that waited until it was dark and just ate everybody.
Oh, and that was a cool concept, is that they went to Alaska to do it, like when it's dark for 4 months out of the year or something like that, so they can go with impunity.
Right, and it wasn't like they just would like, ooh, two fangs into you and then drink your. They like ripped out your throat and like sucked your blood down as it was like pouring out of your arteries and shit.
That's also why I'm never going to Alaska.
Y'all, not during their like peak winter months.
Yeah, only the sun time.
You gotta worry more about wolves and grizzly bears and moose and polar bears and shit than vampires.
Did they ever make the sequel? Because I know he made. I'm trying to look up the dude who wrote the comic.
I don't think,
because I know he made a follow-up comic.
Yeah, but I don't think it did well enough in the theaters to justify another movie. So,
let's see. 30 Days. Steve Niles. That's the dude who wrote the comic. He's like one of those big like horror comic writers. I don't know if he's also the artist, but I remember picking up that book, and I never bought it, but I remember like flipping through it before in like the comic book store and stuff like that before the movie came out, and I'm like, wow, that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, another movie that dropped the ball on that on vampires, I Am Legend. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. That's
well, because they weren't even vampires in the movie.
I know.
In the book, they explicitly say they're vampires.
Yeah, but they were more like reskinned robots from iRobot. The way they all would like jump on something
in the movie. Yeah,
it was awful.
Again, that movie was terrible. It's like, Will Smith, what are you doing?
The movie
and it was a bummer too, because like the CGI
the
effects when you saw it on YouTube, you're like, oh man, that would have been awesome if they actually went with the rubber suits.
You mean the makeup attack? The makeup. Yeah.
It was just like the Green Goblin for Spider-Man. Like you saw the makeup test, and you're like, holy shit, that looks amazing. But we already got our movie, and it's already terrible. So you're like, fuck.
The movie was great halfway through.
Halfway, but
I know it was. You had half of an excellent movie.
It's just one of those where they threw the source material out the window.
Right.
It completely missed. All right, so spoilers for the rest of the episode. In the movie of I Am Legend, he meets like a survivor. He's supposed to be the last person on Earth, as far as he knows. But he meets a woman and a child, and long story short, he develops a cure and gives them the cure, and he sacrifices himself, and they go to a fabled safe zone, and they're safe, and she goes, he is our legend because he saved us, and I'm like, no, no, that's not at all what the story is about.
It's actually the complete fucking opposite.
Absolutely, like I get it. It's to an extent. If you can do the story in the book, but for whatever reason, if Hollywood couldn't do it,
Probably wasn't cool enough. They don't like tradition.
no, it is perfectly cool enough because in the book,
But it
Doesn't have enough explosions.
you could have made it. You could have added the explosions, and still had the ending from the book, because in the book, it's I am legend. He is not a legend for humanity because he saved humanity. He is a legend to these vampire creatures because he is their boogeyman.
Right. Well, because they're sentient.
Right.
But that's something
you don't find that out through halfway through the book.
Yeah.
He finds they capture him and they put him on trial and shit like that, and he finds out that they're not these mindless beasts, and he's essentially on trial as a terrorist because while they sleep during the day, he's going around killing them as he finds them. So he's their boogeyman. He is the thing that terrifies them. He is the legend that they tell their children, lock your door at night or Will Smith is going to come and get you.
Which would have been an amazing, it's good to see this on film.
Yes, exactly. Because even in the book, when he realizes that,
It's always got to be a black man. Why is it always a black man breaking down doors?
In the book, I don't think it actually states his race or anything. It just Dr. Neville, I think, is what.
You said Will Smith.
Because of the damn Hollywood movie, I have Will Smith in my head.
Well, also that if you read the book or listen to the audio tape or whatever the hell you want to do, it's classic Twilight Zone. You think something's happening and then they switch it and it just fucks your entire perspective and you're like, what the fuck? That's amazing. And Hollywood hates that type of shit. And it would have been so cool to see because it would have been classic movies.
It should have been M. Night Shyamalan that did that movie.
And which also I should say I went to go see that Get Out movie because it ties in with that new Get Out movie is a classic fucking horror suspense thriller kind of movie.
Yeah, I'm hearing good things. But I'm not gonna waste money on a horror movie in the theaters. That's just not what I'm gonna do.
I did see some clips from it, and they did genuinely freak me out. When he sees somebody running at him in the distance, and he's just running at him in the middle of the night, and then he gets super close to him and just somehow turns into a perfect L, and just runs at him and just gets right in his face and just turns and runs. It was fucking strange.
It is.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The movements were strange. Just off kilter enough to make your mind, as a human who sees movements like this, it was just off enough to make you go, ugh.
Let's just say this movie wasn't over the top with its finale. It was very reserved. If you've ever watched the old Stepford Wives, where the entire movie is just there's what the fuck is up with this goddamn town? These wives are fucking freaky, and the ending of the movie, you're just holy shit, that's amazing. It makes the whole movie make sense, and you can go back, rewatch it with that information at hand and be oh fuck, it's one of those movies where you're going into this situation and everyone's just off. They're just a little bit off, and it makes you really uncomfortable because they're not being genuine about it. And the twist at the end, you're just holy fuck.
Yeah, well, don't spoil that because, like I said, I want to see this movie. Yeah. I only reserve my movie going experience for big need to see on the screen movies.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
See Logan on Saturday.
I don't know if Logan qualifies as that, but it's an X-Men movie.
Absolutely, it does. The fact that you guys haven't seen the other X-Men movies in the theaters, it bothers me. Okay.
No, that was Roy. I've seen every X-Men movie in the theater except for X-Men Apocalypse. So don't give me that shit. I'm an X-Man through and through, motherfucker.
See, I'm not. I was never a huge X-Men fan to begin with.
I fucking loved X-Men.
So once I got hit with a 1-2 punch of The Last Stand and the Wolverine, I was like, fuck this shit.
Now, you're thinking of the Wolverine or X-Men Origins Wolverine, because that was the really shitty Wolverine
Yeah,
movie.
that was the one with the Silver Samurai when he went to
No.
Japan.
That is the Wolverine.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. Not a fan.
All right, well, that was good compared to X-Men Origins Wolverine, because that one was a pile of dog shit. Like that almost, I feel like that screamed of like fucking
Studio.
No, not even studio interference. That felt like a Cinemax movie. His claws were so
It was
obviously
very
fakely superimposed. Like, dude, that's video game, like pad video game graphics for the claws.
Yeah, it was
It's like, how do you fuck that up?
It was geared towards the younger demographic. They did not have the demographics very well picked out for that fucking movie. That's what, like, Deadpool references that fucked up Deadpool at the end of X-Men Origins, where, like, they sewed his mouth shut and made him shoot laser beams.
Yeah, that didn't even make any sense.
What?
How have you
Like,
not seen this?
They have Deadpool in the movie, and it's the climactic fight at the end between him and Logan, but it's not the Deadpool we know. It's Ryan Reynolds at the beginning as a regular, you can assume, like, they make you look like Deadpool because he's got like a red shirt on and he's got two swords and he's cracking jokes and everything like that. But then when they put him in the Weapon X program, they turn him into this like gigantic bald thing with like an amalgamation of all these different mutant powers. So they gave him this power that he doesn't even have in the comics, of other mutant powers, and they sewed his mouth shut because he was annoying. So he's got like Wolverine's healing factor. He's got these giant Baraka swords, literally Baraka swords that come out of like the top of his arm. And what else? He can teleport like Nightcrawler, and he's got like Cyclops' optic beams. And it's like, what the fuck?
What did you do?
Yeah, and even though in the name they call it Deadpool, but it doesn't even make sense, because I guess it's because all his powers come from a pool of dead mutants.
Yeah, how have you not seen this movie? This is where the Deadpool originated. That whole campaign for Deadpool started with the terribleness of this movie. How have you not seen this?
Because Ryan Reynolds hated it so much.
Everyone hated it so much. They're like, what the fuck did you do? We finally get to see Deadpool, and you do this, and you do this. But it just boggles my mind that you haven't seen those other ones.
If that leads to the Deadpool that we know and love now, then I'm all for it. Because, like you said,
you need to see the journey, man. You need to see the journey.
I was never a huge X-Men fan to begin with. I just wasn't. I appreciate the first two movies.
So, I mean, you don't even like the comics.
I was never a huge X-Men fan. I always liked Wolverine, Cyclops. Like, I thought they were cool, but I wasn't into it like you guys were, especially you.
So I have a good topic of conversation that I want to get into, and it was actually inspired by Aaron and his obsession with Mass Effect.
I didn't do it.
Before I get into that, my daughter has been into Pokemon cards, like hard fucking core. Like all of a sudden, the last 3 weeks, she's been obsessed with Pokemon cards. And that's fine. I mean, she doesn't play the game; she's just buying them for the Pokemon. So whatever, collect what you will.
They're the Pogs of this day and age.
I'm about to get to that.
Well,
is your kid into Pokemon or getting anything?
She has some. She likes to collect cards of anything, like the Rogue One, Star Wars collector cards. She collects those. She likes some Pokemon cards, but it is strange how they've made a resurgence.
It is. I didn't know how rampant it was. I was talking to my wife about this, and we missed the Pokemon card craze.
I didn't. I was in the middle of it.
Yeah, Roy was in the middle of it. Our old high school friend Mike G, I'll say that, he had a bunch of Pokemon cards, and somehow I have them. I don't know how I got them. I think he left them in my house and never picked them up. But it's all the original Pokemon cards. Like, he has almost all of them.
Wow, that's probably worth some money.
I know, that's why I haven't gotten rid of them.
I don't know. There's like 500 new Pokemon, so maybe it's not. But all right. So you and I missed Aaron missed the Pokemon.
Yeah, I looked at him like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't into it. It was like I didn't play Magic, but it's like we have Magic. You know, it's-
I love Magic too.
I
Magic
know.
the Gathering is
I
great.
just say like our Pokemon craze was the games, the
Yeah, red and blue, and then gold and silver.
right, exactly.
See, the cards got big after everybody kind of got used to the first two games, but it was a couple of years between the first generation and the second generation.
Yeah.
So from what I've noticed, I think I was in like the 6th grade, and it like blew up. All these cards were like such a huge thing, and people were like, "I've got a Zapdos. I'll trade you for this one, for that one." It was like crazy.
See, and now this is exactly why I bring this up, because she's collecting the cards. She already had like a decent stack, and then we went to the comic book store last weekend, and she bought 5 more packs.
Booster packs.
I don't know.
Now,
The guy was like, "Oh yeah, you buy 5 of them, and I'll give you a 6th one free." And he tried. He's like, "Yeah, 5 of them comes to like $21." She had $25 of her own money that I told her she could spend on anything. So she gets 5 of them, gets the 6th one free, and she gets back her change of like $3.80, and the cards are like $4.99, $3.99 plus tax. He goes, "I shouldn't do this, but if she wants one more, she can have it. You know, I'll just keep all this change." She didn't go for it, but I'm like, "That's a good deal. You're saving on taxes."
Dude's a fucking huckster.
Oh yeah. I'm like, good ploy. But she didn't take the bait. So
Anything to get them shekels.
Wait, she had $25. You should have been fiscally guiding your child on what she should spend her money on. Like if she likes
I made
Lego
her open up
games
a
or something like that, she can download.
I made her open up a savings account and made her put $30 into a savings account.
Oh,
So
that's
I
a
said she can do
start.
whatever the fuck she wants with that other 25.
Hey man, if she gets a foil Charizard, you don't know. It might be worth money now.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's like she spent her money on whatever the fuck she wants. But
She's 5 or whatever the hell age she is.
almost 8. But yeah, so she's got all this huge stack of cards now, and I'm like, "So do your friends have Pokemon cards?" She's not really. I'm like, okay. Do other kids in school have Pokemon cards? Do you play the game or trade them at recess? She goes, "No, we're not allowed to bring toys to school." I'm like, "Well, it's not a toy. It's they're cards." She goes, "No, we're not allowed to do that at recess. Like, nobody plays cards or trades any cards or anything." She goes, "No." I'm like, "What do you do at recess?" She was like, "We either play on the jungle gym or we do," I don't know. So I don't even know what she said. Other stupid shit. And I'm like, my mouth was just hanging down to the floor because I'm like, what? What is wrong with the school system? I'm saying this right here, right now. The school system is fucked up because playing cards, trading cards, that is like the foundations of economics as children. I spent from 5th grade to 8th grade, maybe 4th grade to 8th grade, on the playground trading X-Men cards, trading Spider-Man cards, trading Star Wars cards, and playing Pogs. It taught us economics, and it taught us gambling.
Yeah, it started our gambling addiction.
I guarantee you there's Wall Street investors and traders right now that learn the ropes by playing Pogs.
I'll put 20 Pogs on the red slammer.
But see, here's the problem is that some of those guys also learned how to know they game the system and steal money, and they're the same jackasses that I remember stealing cards and stealing Pogs.
Or grabbing all
from
those
other
Pogs once the
kids.
bell rung.
No. There's a difference between straight up stealing from somebody and then just playing them really well.
No. I remember there was a point in time where we had to stop bringing in certain things, and it always kind of seemed to go hand in hand with like a certain point in time. I remember Pogs, and the problem was that people were hitting each other with the slammers.
I can understand that.
Well,
I can understand those being.
And then the Pokemon cards were because parents were actually calling and complaining because there were other kids who would like take other cards and then they'd go home crying because like some other kid grabbed them, and then the teacher was like, "Well, I don't know who these are and who does this go to." And
then as the teacher, you fucking take the cards and no kid gets them.
I know.
That's how it goes.
Yo-yos. I remember yo-yos made a big comeback. I don't know if you remember that.
Nope.
But the
Yo-yos
problem
were
is-
still dumb when I was a kid.
Oh, because dude, I had a Duncan Imperial and I was nasty with it. It was a red Duncan Imperial. dude, I could fucking flip that thing around like nobody's.
See, I don't even know what that is. I'm like, do you eat that?
No. It's
Is
just,
it made out of
it's just
chocolate?
it was just a cool Yogo. And then, do you remember GIMP?
I know what a GIMP
No.
is.
You don't remember the little they were. Oh god, you guys gotta know what GIMP is. It's like long, flat strands. They kind of look like linguini, like the flat, and then you would weave them together to make like something like a knot.
No.
Look it up online, dude. You guys,
Yeah, you know what's gonna come up if I type in GIMP.
You're gonna get put on a watch list.
You get that
Yeah,
scene
and it was
from Quentin Tarantino movie.
It was just these.
Dead's dead, baby.
It was just these like wax strands, but the thing is that people would make weapons out of them. So there's always something that people do.
Okay, fine. I mean, I don't know this GIMP of which you speak of, and I understand.
Dude, I remember a kid named Brandon. I sat in like 2
always
seats
named
ahead of him on
Brandon.
the bus. It was like 2 seats ahead of him on the bus or something like that. And I remember he was talking shit to an older kid. I mean, we were young. I was maybe 4th grade, and this kid was a little bit. The other kid was a little bit older. And Brandon just said the wrong fucking thing at the wrong time. And I remember this kid in the way back stood up. His arm came back, pitched forward, and Brandon just started screaming. Dude, he took a slammer, one of those thick-ass metal slammers, to the back of the skull.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Were they like ninja-shaped star one, or just like a
It was just like the
circle?
round hockey puck.
Yeah.
It was just like a metal hockey puck that this kid took in the back of that. He dropped like a stone, screaming, holding his head. Yeah.
See, I can understand
So it's
why
pricks
Pogs.
like that.
I can understand why Pogs are banned. Yeah. You know, 'cause I had like 3 of the
Tubes?
1 foot tubes of slammers, and then a whole binder of Pogs. I mean, dude, the only thing I didn't have was the tournament table pad, but I had everything else. And dude, that was my recess in the Pog era. I must have looked like a businessman with it with a handcuff of like the booklet to my arm and just coming out with the thing. But I will put down these Pogs. But I get it.
I just imagine you walking in with like a belt with like, oh, you know how you said like in the show there's like Pokeballs so that like that attached to your belt. You just walk in with tubes of Pogs attached to your belt like they're 6-shooters,
and they like got like the coin dispensers, so they come out the bottom like.
Let's do this. You know?
But I get why that might
draw.
be banned, Pogs. But like trading cards, that's a fucking that's an American thing right there. That's America. Is like trading cards on the schoolyard, whether it's baseball cards, which there was other kids on. They might have been cooler than me because they were trading baseball cards. But I had my X-Men cards. I had my Spider-Man cards. My Flair Ultra 1993 Marvel Masterpiece cards. Dude, I still have those upstairs. You know, you have like the whole foil set. You're missing just one. You're willing to give up, you know, these 3 duplicates to get that one from that one kid, but that kid wants those 3 duplicates plus one other card that you're not willing to part with. What do you do? You know,
it's socioeconomics, and you're learning it the hard way.
It is. And I'm so shocked that they don't allow trading cards. Like you said, oh, kid comes by and, hey, these are my cards now, and takes them. Like I said, all the teacher has to do is, these are my cards now. Fuck all y'all.
I know, but now
keep them.
But now the problem
And
is
she's like, finally got that Charizard.
But you can't do that now because now you're going to have parents that call and say, I need to know which cards are mine, my kids, because I need those back because we spent money on those, damn it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work in today's, today's parent-teacher climate. You know what I mean? And the climate where teachers get blamed, not the kids, like by parents. I mean, come on, we've all known that. We all know that situation.
I don't know. I think it's just ridiculous. I truly.
I agree.
All joking aside, I really do think that kids are missing out big if they're not allowed to trade cards or play cards on the playground.
I played it. Me in shop with my friends, my shop buddies, Jigs and Grant and everybody. We played Magic the Gathering in shop in front of Cavallo. And like he would like sit there and like watch us play. He was like, "You guys shouldn't be doing this." We're like, "Yeah, we know." We'd just be playing in the middle of class.
See, that's a good teacher right there.
Yeah.
The kind that goes, "This is against the rules, but I don't care."
Well, he'd be like, 5 minutes, and I better see those cards back in their boxes. And it was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I completely agree. I totally agree with you.
I want to see what a school playground looks like now, because I'm thinking back when I was a kid, there was kids playing wall ball.
Whoopsie. I remember Whoopsie.
And dude, they would play hardcore. It wasn't like they would whale you with that fucking ball.
Yep.
Teachers didn't care. Then there would other kids on the playground, the jungle gym thing. Then there would be kids out in the fields, be kids going down the slide, and then there would be little pockets, the kids in the shadowy areas,
Yep.
or sometimes in the sunny areas if you needed the light, playing cards, trading cards, doing pogs. Or even just playing with action figures. I remember being able to bring action figures to school, but she's telling me that she's not allowed to bring any toys to school. I get not taking the toy out in the middle of class, but recess is dude, that's not school time. That's my time.
I know.
You know?
I completely
That's
agree.
my lunch hour, bitch.
My daughter is 9, and she's going to be going into the 4th grade next year, and they don't have recess in the 4th grade. When I was a kid, 5th grade was the first grade you didn't have recess. You know what I mean? They knocked that back.
Oh,
So
really?
in
I was gonna
4th
say we
grade-
had recess till 8th grade.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we did.
What kind of
Yep, middle school.
really?
Yeah, we had recess up until high school. Then it was like,
What kind of-
wait a minute, it's like there's no recess now.
Wow. Huh.
And like
I remember-
recess in middle school is just a bunch of people hanging out in the fucking parking lot of the outside of the school.
Yeah, for me, recess. The last year of recess was in the 4th grade.
And even in high school, our freshman year, they stopped doing this after our freshman year. You could go outside and smoke and hang out in the parking lot and play like hacky sack and shit. Our freshman year, back in like 99, 2000
Yep.
was our freshman year or something like that. And then the very next year, they're like, nope, at lunch you cannot leave the building at all whatsoever, no matter what. And that sucked because I loved going outside during
I remember
the
that.
first
They
year.
brought that back. They
Did
brought
they?
that back from my junior year, I want to say. Junior or senior year. It's the back parking lot.
Yeah.
Right by the lunchroom.
Yeah.
You could go outside and kind of mess around.
Oh yeah, they took that away after our first year.
I remember kids trying to like do ollies and shit. They'd go out to their cars, get skateboards, and try to like kick flip and do ollies and shit. I remember that. Yeah, I don't get it, man. But you know, it's because of kid distraction and this and that. And there's got to be something to that because I'm not trying to segue into a different topic. This is just a pure aside. We're from Massachusetts, and I'm sure you guys saw it on Facebook. Massachusetts has been claimed the number one state for a lot of things in the entire United States.
Best state in the country.
But one thing we nailed was education. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe our kids are
Yeah,
getting
but they're
smarter.
talking. I guess it's covering education in general, but I'm thinking more. We're more known for colleges and
Yeah,
universities.
but they're taking. I read the whole report. It's pretty much across the board. Our kids are all smart. I mean, my daughter Jay is in. She's in the 3rd grade now, and she's working on complicated fractions.
Oh yeah, no, they're doing shit that I can't do already.
I'm like, what
So,
the fuck are you guys doing? What are you guys doing fractions for?
That's
What-
fine. Learn your fractions. Learn your everything. Let kids play at recess.
They need to have fun.
right.
That's their down.
Because during school, that's where you spend time with kids that you don't see during the summertime.
Right.
You might see your best friends. If your best friend lives on the other side of town, you have to rely on your parents to shuttle you back and forth. If you're fortunate enough to live around where there's at least a handful of your friends, and I had one friend who's nearly directly across the street, who's like across the street and then down a dead-end street. I had another kid who was maybe a mile down the street, but that was no big deal. And then, but my best friend in middle school lived on the legit other side of town. So during the summertime, I had to be driven over there.
And when you're a kid asking your parents for rides across towns and set up play dates and shit, that was like pulling teeth.
It sucked. And because, I would like sleep over the kid's house all the time because, I don't want to go there for just an hour or 2 hours to be picked up again. It's like, no, like, this is my best friend. He's got all the cool toys. So, we're going to stay here. We're going to play Star Wars.
He's got Mortal Kombat with the actual blood.
Yeah.
know?
Shit. Yeah. So, but there's also a bunch of other kids that you hang out with during school that you never see during the summertime because it's too complicated. You're not that close. So you're taking away a lot from kids being able to play with these kids, interact with these kids during school time, during recess time.
You are losing a lot of the social aspect of school when you're kids.
Really are.
I feel like I should be playing What Would You Do If I Sang Out of Tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me?
Damn, you know what?
Saying that so terribly.
I know.
Well, you want me
First,
to do an impression of Joe Cocker? I mean, we could do that.
No, you keep your cockers to yourself. So speaking of cockers, this topic of conversation that we got coming up was inspired by Aaron and his obsession with Mass Effect, because you sent a thing for Mass Effect Andromeda.
I did.
It's
so
like the new sex scenes.
Yeah.
Sick and fuck.
So apparently,
And-
on the Twitter of the developer of Mass Effect, they basically said that this wasn't rated by the ESRB, Mass Effect Andromeda, due to like a myriad of different reasons. It had like an MA rating, but it wasn't like. Basically, they went full blown on the nudity portion of it, and so instead of partial nudity like the other ones, it's full blown nudity apparently, and it was verified by the publisher.
So this got me thinking, because they're not the first to do it.
Do we get to see Quarian titties?
I just want to see a Quarian face.
Face first, then movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Speak
Want
for
to see what
yourself.
I'm getting in? What I'm getting at there.
Speak for yourself. She's got a helmet. You don't even have to splurge for a bag. Come on, man. She's got it.
But so this got me thinking about the history of sex and nudity in video games, and I got me thinking back. I'm like, you know what? Fucking the Mass Effect games were nothing. Like when it came to the lovemaking scenes, they were so Skinamax softcore.
Well, then you remember
They
the
were-
controversy around them because like some politicians heard that there were some sex scenes, but they never
which
actually
makes
watched
no
them.
goddamn sense. Makes no goddamn sense, because for the last 24 hours I've been researching this topic, and I'll get into what my first, when I remember first thinking or seeing pixelated titties or whatever, but the actual history of video game sex, The Witcher 3, I have come to find out, is the most fucked up. Like, you fuck everybody in that game.
Yeah, you fuck a witch on a stuffed unicorn. You can fuck like a giant, like, minotaur type creature, like a giant bull, like bull man. It's
Everything.
ridiculous.
I was unaware that The Witcher 3 had so much fuckings.
Neither was I, but there's like a 20-minute video of all the sex scenes you can be part of.
I've heard that,
and one of them was like one of the death sequences where you're this, I don't know, shaman chick jumps your bones on an altar and then stabs you in the chest and you fucking die.
nice. Best way to go.
It really is.
Well, isn't it like shit? Was her name Lilith?
I don't.
No, the female Asari. It's Asari, right?
No, it was Liara.
No. The other one. Remember how you got a chance? There was Samara,
yeah.
and then like there was her evil sister or daughter or some
It was
shit.
a daughter. I don't remember what her name was.
I swear to God, it was like Lilith or something like that.
Nah, that's too human.
It was something close. And you could fuck her, and then she would like
kill you.
Yeah, she would like suck your soul out or your
Yeah.
brain out or whatever.
But again, they don't show it. They don't show anything.
Right.
Where like The Witcher 3 shows everything. And then even further back we got God of War. I mean, you got like power up bonuses by having threesomes.
Yeah.
It's like it made you more powerful.
I remember that. It was like, ugh, and they're like, oh, you're so powerful. Oh, Kratos, yes.
Yeah, but then like the little energy balls would come out of them at the end, and you'd go, "Rah!"
But then there was like a narrator who was like, nice, well done. I remember that. The whole bed would shake and shit. It was,
Yeah, that was only the first one.
Yep.
It got even more graphic as they went on. And then we have Grand Theft Auto.
yeah,
Grand Theft Auto 5, there was like blowjobs and you even one of the missions like you videotape somebody having sex as like blackmail or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who in Grand Theft Auto didn't get a hooker to bang you to like increase your life and then run her over and take your money back?
Yeah, but I mean that was all the way back to Grand Theft Auto 3, but that only showed the car just moving, and then they doubled down on the sex when they got to San Andreas, because they would show the banging, but you are fully clothed.
No, that was wasn't that the they called it like the coffee pot mod or something
Hot
like that.
coffee mod.
Where they were like,
Oh,
hot
yeah,
coffee
yeah,
mod, where they were
I
like
see.
flying around and bang. No, I remember there was this thing where they're like, oh, this on the news, they're like, oh, this is incredibly realistic, and like the mod screwed up the game a little bit, so you'd actually be like flying like 10 feet off the air while humping, and like you couldn't control the character, so you could like walk.
Well, it wasn't even that.
You'd be,
Like
flying.
the hacker kids had to like go into the code to unlock that particular portion of the game, so it wasn't accessible to the public unless you had coding knowledge and could like find it.
Well, it's the PC because they're always modding
Yeah.
the Grand Theft Auto games. But it's just funny thinking back on the controversy of the Mass Effect game when it's like all these other games. It's like, dude, well, it's far more graphic, and then it got me thinking. Like I said, into the history of this.
I'll take you one step farther back, and from God of, we'll go PlayStation 1 with Tomb Raider, and everybody knows, everybody that's talking right now has tried, always heard, ooh, there's a code that can get Lara naked.
It was like the topless code or something like that.
And it never existed.
No.
It was just like this huge lie, this motherfucking perpetrators.
Because that was like the first time that everybody was trying to see this character naked, because she would like jump and she'd go, I mean, how many people played that game and just all they did was just climb up stuff?
I may have
played the game.
Come on, man, we've all whacked off to a video game before. Don't lie.
No,
you lying son of a bitch.
not to a video game.
Well, a scene, gotten a boner, maybe not whacked off, gotten excited. As a young teenager, you're playing a video game, something happens, and you're like, oh, what is this? Never happened?
No, video games never did it for me.
Son of a bitch.
But I mean,
Aaron, come on, man, don't leave me hanging like
I
that.
mean,
know
I had
something's
like the
happened.
video game magazines, and I'd look at it like porn. I'm like, oh shit, look at the drawing of that fucking thing.
I was gonna say, come on, Dead or Alive,
Blood
beach
Rain.
volleyball. I remember
right,
that-
but I mean, you're
I remember
talking
that
about like
game-
during an actual game.
I remember that Game Informer.
Yeah, you gotta like pause it.
And there's one thing about like the drawing on the magazine or spread in a magazine or whatever, and then like playing the video game and getting aroused because of the booby physics.
No. See, shut up. See this? See, because there's a difference. Because I remember playing Tekken 2, and there was a character. Oh God, I'm revealing a lot about myself right now. There was
Yes,
a
you
character
are.
named Anna Williams who was like a side character, where in her ending she was very like sexualized, and she had like a dress that went all the way up to her, like she had a slit that went up to her thigh and stuff like that. And I remember to this day her ending. And this is why I bring up the whole whacking off the video games thing. I was like 12, maybe 11. And I was so good with this character because I could blow through the game. It was like 12 matches of 2 rounds each, and I could beat it in like 10 minutes flat because I was so good with this character.
The game or yourself?
Both. But the game, I got so good at using this one character to get her ending. Because I would always use the ending to whack off when I was a kid because I didn't have access to anything else. I didn't have the internet. The internet wasn't a thing when I was that young. So what would happen was
She had a whole stack of Easy Riders.
She had an end. Well, that was like 2 years later. But she had an ending scene where it was her in the shower, and then her sister Nina, still remember the names, would come in and like with an old Polaroid style camera, and would. It was like sound. There was no words, but Anna would be shocked, and she would turn around, like it showed her legs, and then she would spin around, and you'd see the look in her eyes, and then Nina would take a picture. The screen would go white, take a picture. Out of the Polaroid would be a picture of Anna with her arms folded across her, like to hide her titties, but it was just enough. Just enough. So what I would do on the PlayStation, since you couldn't pause an end scene, a cutscene at that point, is that I would hit the disc open. Because if anybody would have played out of a first edition PlayStation 1, if you hit the disc open, it would open up, the disc would stop spinning, but the image would still stay on the screen. So I would... I
was wondering how you had enough time to take care of it.
I'd grab whatever was handy and do my business, and that was that.
All right, so this is Tekken 2?
Tekken 2.
All right, so was this movie sequence all polygon characters, or was it the like anime?
It was like really shitty CGI.
Okay,
like
because
really
I was gonna say, because that's
animation.
what PlayStation was like really crappy polygons. But some games, like the remake of Chrono Cross, had like anime cutscenes.
It was exactly like that. It was the only thing I had at the time. Only thing. And, oh, man.
Did you play any of the Leisure Suit Larry games?
Had one, never played it. I still have the box somewhere.
I had that, but it was so disappointed. I don't even remember how I got a hold of it, but I remember older kids talking about it, like, oh yeah, there's boobs in this game, and if you play it the right way, you get to have sex at the end of it.
My crazy perverted Uncle Scrod, we call him Uncle Scrod. He when he first heard that we had a computer, it was like a really shitty one that was given us to by a family friend. He sent me that in like a package, and it was wrapped in brown paper in a box, and it said for Adam. So I opened it, and it had like a little handwritten note, like, "Hey, bud, heard you got a computer. Enjoy this. I bought this game with you in mind." And I had it, and I didn't know how to load it, how to do anything, because again, I was like 11, 12 maybe. But my fucking awesome uncle bought me a Leisure Suit Larry game when I was a kid. I still have that somewhere.
See if you can load it into your
I never
CD-ROM
even opened the package. It's still got
like I
plastic
said,
on it.
they were disappointing games because it was cool at first because you got like to see some boobs in the game, but you had to work really hard for them. There's like 10 Leisure Suit Larry games, but whichever one I had, it was like puzzles you had to solve and things like that. And I didn't even beat the game, so I never even got to if there was a sex scene at the end, which I don't think so, because the whole point of it is that Larry is such like, he thinks he's a player, but he's just like really like a loser piece of crap, and he never actually gets to have sex. Okay. So I think that game was totally geared and marketed to horny teenage boys who thought they were gonna like see some sex in a video game.
So I just looked up on YouTube Witcher 3 review, and obviously that guy Angry Joe comes up.
Yep.
And literally the very first second of the video review is him with fucking lotion, like the tissue, and beaten off.
No, it was crazy. Like, I did not know. I'm not familiar with the series, with the game very much. I didn't know. I heard of Witcher. I didn't know they were on a third one.
Yeah, it's a third-person action adventure.
Yeah,
it's like Skyrim,
like
but a little bit better, I guess. I don't know.
But sexier. But I mean, I did not realize. Like I said, it was a 20-minute clip that I found of just all the different sex scenes, and it's like, damn.
And they're well done. That's the best part. Like the funniest one is the one where the main character, I think his name is Geralt, and he's like cuddled up to that really huge Minotaur character who you can
snoo.
And so they're like snuggling, cuddling or whatever, and then somebody like an aide walks in. And he's like, "Good morning, sir. I just wanted to." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt." And then like somebody else walks in and is like, "Excuse me, sir. I didn't mean to bother." Oh, geez. Like it's like 4 people in a row. That kind of, it's pretty hilarious.
So have you, digging way back? These are some games that I didn't even play, but I guess the granddaddy of all perverted games.
Is it the Custer's Revenge?
Custer's Revenge.
Yep.
For the Atari 2600, released in 1982. I've never played it. Apparently, it's very rare. Obviously, it didn't do very well. The whole point of the game is you are a naked General Custard with a giant pixelated erection, and you have to go rape this Indian woman without getting shot by the arrows.
I mean, there's all sorts of pitfalls and traps and stuff when you're trying to get your dick wet. What can you say?
That's the entire game, is you're raping an Indian woman.
Well, actually, they re-released it with her, like, with a little pixelated arm and hand, like, beckoning you. After, like, the big outrage of all this pixelated sex. It's so salacious.
Yeah, because you're raping. So they like made it so it's like, all right, come here.
She had like a little T-Rex arm or something.
She's now like willing and able.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you didn't do a good enough job tying her down. Maybe they're just into some, like, BDSM type shit.
And this other one that I've never even heard of until I was researching this topic was, it's called X-Man. And it is not all related to the X-Men games.
No relation.
It's another game for the Atari. It's more rare than Custer's Revenge. Essentially, it's Pac-Man. You play this little naked guy, essentially in a Pac-Man maze, and you have to navigate the maze without getting killed by not the ghost, but like whatever bad guy kills you in the maze.
STDs.
Maybe.
If there's like big amoebas.
When you get to the middle of the when you solve the maze, you get to the middle. There's a naked woman there, and you get to bang her. It like literally it goes to another screen, and then you have to like press the button to like thrust in and out until you're done. And like I guess her nipples like blink in and out of existence.
Sounds amazing.
It's called X-Men for the Atari 2600. Never heard of it before. It's just one of those like, how the fuck did that get made games? Like that and Custer's Revenge. Like we're talking about Witcher and Mass Effect. All these games where the sex is just like a bonus to the main storyline, a little fun side thing that you can do. Where like the main point of these games is just a straight up sex and perversion.
I mean, I guess there was a market for it back then. I mean, if you had an arcade game like that, you could put it in a strip club.
I figure it's just game programmers. You can never escape the nerdy perv.
Yeah,
Well,
who's coding.
So what do you think about Mass Effect having full-blown nudity? Are you for or against?
I don't think it's necessary, to be honest. The relationship aspect with another character is interesting. The little Skinamax roll in the bed and then the snuggle that they do afterwards. It's like, that's fine. It's literally a minute sequence where I feel like they're only doing it because other games are pushing the boundaries more, and it's just unnecessary in a Mass Effect game.
All I can think of is Jay and Silent Bob. He's like, man, could have been an astronaut. Be the first man. Find an alien. And fuck it. And just it's just the face of Silent Bob when he just turns and is like, huh, with a cigarette in his lips.
Well, the other thing is, I hope they have like a setting where like you don't have to have the nudity possibly, because I plan to get a coda into the Mass Effect universe because the stories are so fucking awesome. And your interaction...
Well, you don't have to pursue a relationship. I mean, that's completely optional.
Well, I get that, but I mean, like, have the option to, like, I don't know, PG-13 it, or as an adult, have your R version of it. You're like, whatever, I don't care. It's growing with its audience, and its audience are now 30 years old, kind of thing.
Unless they implement that themselves, I don't see that being an option.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they'd have to implement it themselves.
Right, because it's not a thing that...
Kind of like Mortal Kombat, how you could turn
now.
off
It's
the
like,
blood.
Yeah. Put the clothing code in.
So there's
We come full circle now.
They're just dry humping.
They're just heavy petting.
Because
it just all of a sudden turns into like one of those early high school, just like whispering, "I really like you," as you grind your jeans into her jeans, and it just nobody feels good.
No, you're extra uncomfortable because you have a boner in jeans.
Yeah, but you're like you're trying to get so like your dick bulge, and you're like trying to push aside that big seam of the jeans that's right in front of her vag, so hopefully she gets.
Oh Jesus!
And then just zippers in.
Jesus.
But the fucked up thing is that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Hopefully.
So
everybody does.
I know.
Anyway, back to not Roy's Mass Effect.
There's no zippers in space, jackass. Come on, man.
Like, I played, Mass Effect, and every once in a while, like, Courtney would be in the room if I was playing that particular storyline, and, like, the sex scene came up with, like, she walked in at the latter half of the very end of Mass Effect 1. So, Liara's like, oh, that was great, and then I can make my character go, well, we can go again. And she watches it, she looks at me and goes, really? Like, because she's not used to it. So
Courtney, are you telling me you do not want to have sex with a beautiful blue alien?
No, it's not that.
That is one of my dreams.
I mean,
honestly.
she wasn't like...
blue aliens land, and they're beautiful and attractive. That's a fantasy for
No,
me right
I don't think she's ever experienced it. I don't think it's that prevalent of a thing. Like, we know it because we're gamers, but she had never experienced that kind of involvement in a video game where it was that, like, intimate of a scene and you could make, like, little wisecracky jokes. So she was like, what? Like, even Conrad Werner, just having a random conversation with that guy, she goes, what the fuck is going on right now? Because it was so ridiculous. So I definitely think, like, it's few and far between that we get a decent kind of thing with nudity in a video game if the story is actually told well and it incorporates it. I don't care if there's boobs if the story's told well.
No, I mean, I agree. When it pertains to Mass Effect, it's about the story, and it ultimately comes to you building a relationship with that person. So I don't think the nudity is even necessary there. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with the implied, the implied sex, because it's not the thing. I haven't played Witcher, but we keep going back to this because I'm still shocked by the amount of egregious sex in that. But it's like, is that part of the story? Did you just go to village and bang who you want? Because that's what it seems like.
Now, this is going to sound strange, and it's going to sound like I'm some sort of evil bastard who's like, oh, no, with the gays.
It's going to make you... Oh, I was going to say, does it make you sound worse than the kid that pauses the game to...
Hey, that was legitimate. That was legitimate. It was the only thing I had, okay? All right? It's not like I used my Pog tube and made a Fifi like you probably did, you son of a bitch. All right? I can see you fucking trying to bang that little thing, and your dad walks. He's like, no, Daddy, don't!
Why did I never think of that?
So
that's the name of this podcast. Egregious Pog fucking tube.
Fucking Pogs.
It's called the Pong Tube Fifi.
Yeah, I forgot what so the thing that really strikes me weird with the Witcher thing and like they have the full-blown nudity with the Mass Effect is, and it's nothing against gay people or a way of life or anything like that, but in a way you can kind of trick yourself with the Cinemax type thing where if it's like a blue alien and they have like the no nudity, like in Mass Effect 3 or 2 or 1 or whatever, where it was just implied. And you're kind of, but when it gets to, and it's almost romantic, but then when it gets to like, what was his name? Aiden? Was it Aiden? Caden?
Caden, yeah.
Caden. And Shepard. And if they bang, it's like there's no way around it. That's butt sex. And for some reason, it just makes it seem a lot like weirder and dirtier. Not because it's gay, but it's because it's not like, I don't know. I don't even have the words to put it into. I started this with no way to stick the landing on.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with it because I don't care if it's two characters of the same sex having sex.
It's not that I have anything against it. It's just that you can't trick yourself into like, oh, this is just like a romance scene, because you can think of.
Well, sure, no, yes, you can. If you're playing, if you decide to have a relationship with the male. And you're male, and you have another male, and you get in a relationship, and they have the sex in the game. It's the way the Mass Effect does it is romantic with their Skinamax sort of way of doing it.
Well,
you're just taking it down to the bucket.
No, because I'm thinking of Mass Effect. I had to use that example because I haven't played The Witcher. So I'm taking that and shoving it into The Witcher and saying how that would be super awkward.
Well, I mean, it would because Witcher is far more graphic.
I know, but there's no way. In my mind, I know two men can love each other, and I got no problem with it. But it's just hard to equate because when I'm with because when you're with a female and you think of anal sex, you don't think romance. So it's hard for me to personally equate.
If you just bring her a bottle of wine, it's romantic.
That's drugging her up, man. That's something that usually sounds like it would come out of my mouth. Came out of yours this time.
I spent too much time with you.
You got out of my osmosis.
You brought me a bottle of wine. Now it hurts to sit.
I don't know. I had no way to stick the landing on that. But it just seems strange, dirty, extra dirty. It's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, butt sex is dirty no matter where it comes from. Dirty in a good way.
All right. You know what? I cheer to that. Well. There we go. Oh.
There we go.
Yeah. Rub those beer bottles together.
Name this episode Somehow We Got to Butt Sex.
I don't think we can That's the episode before this last episode was called Uninspired Hand Job. I think people are going to get the wrong idea of what we talk about. I have to go at least a couple months between the really perverted names. But Pong to Fifi is a good one.
Pong to Fifi. I like it. I like it a lot.
So, all right, we'll close this out. What do you think is the future of video game sex? I mean, are they
VR.
going to
VR.
I was gonna say virtual reality.
Well, there's already VR porn.
Virtual, yeah, but there's gonna be mod-supported VR where you can fuck your fave with haptic technology. You're gonna tell me that somebody isn't gonna make a fleshlight that has the haptic technology? So where it's, you know what that is, like when you wear the vest and like you get shot and it like it hurts me in my spleen or whatever. Yeah, it's gonna be the same thing. I think
you think it'd go that far?
Not mainstream, but I definitely think there's gonna be a few creeps.
Well, sure. I mean, somebody's bound to make like a PS4 version of Custer's Revenge in VR. But
do I think that there's gonna be purely porn-themed games? Is that what you're asking?
I guess I just. Where do you think it's gonna? I mean, I never thought that. Again, I'm blown away by how much sex is in The Witcher. I thought before I saw that, God of War was like the peak of video game sex absurdity for me because it's absurd. It's not romantic sex. It's not practical sex. It's just absurd sex. The Witcher was. It was like almost everything but visual penetration and money shots. It was pretty graphic for a video game, and it was a lot of it. So I mean, I'm thinking back to, the days of being young, innocent in Duke Nukem when you would give them a wad of cash and they'd move their boobs and they had the bra and they had the booby tassels. So you thought you were seeing boobs, but you never actually were seeing boobs. Yeah. And the booby tassels looked like little fucking tentacles. It was weird, but you're still like, this is so cool. Yeah. So I'm just guessing.
So you had Duke Nukem, I had Tekken 2.
I didn't jerk off to Duke Nukem.
You liar.
I'm just like wondering, is this it? Is this kind of where have we reached what is necessary where they're going to go with video game sex? Or is there going to be another game that's going to come out and push, like, show the penetration, like press B to thrust and O to pull out?
I don't think
so. Westworld.
The what?
Westworld.
You said Westworld.
Westworld.
See, I don't think so. I think it's always going to be a fringe thing. I think that there's going.
But these are big, multi-million-dollar mainstream games.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not the focus. That's the difference between Custer's Revenge, X-Man, and The Witcher, and they're only available in like the equivalent of side quests.
You're right.
So it's always going to be a fringe thing. Maybe, maybe it'll become more common, but I think you're going to have a lot of pushback with like the feminist movement and the whole female gamers. Some of them, not just females, but a lot of men too say, we can't disrespect females or people this way. It's a sacred thing.
So do you think maybe there'll be like more homosexual sex put into games?
Well, that's not quite what I meant. I think you're gonna have.
No, I know that's not like exact. I know you're saying this pushback from other people, but like, do you think game developers as a way to be like, look, we're not discriminating based on sex. It's like you can have sex with anything in this game, even this bunny or something. You know what I mean?
Furries. Probably. I mean, I see that as we're already seeing it happen.
Look at his face.
We're already seeing that.
I don't want to see a rabbit fleshlight in the game world.
What do you think, Aaron? Where does video game sex going? What's the future?
Do you like my ears up or down?
100%.
100%.
But
side quests, VR, straight porn game.
Download, streaming to your favorite devices.
But see, I don't think you're going to see many games that are based on just porn, like porn games. Like trying to think of like the dating simulators that came out. They were like the Flash-based ones. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah,
they were always
those
on
are big in like
Newgrounds.
Japan and China and stuff.
Yeah. Do you remember when Newgrounds and E-Bombs World was a big thing?
Yeah.
There was one always on the front page. It was like its own section of like dating boyfriend / girlfriend simulators. And I don't really think you're going to see a big market for that. Not mainstream like giant third-party developers. I don't know. But the future remains to be seen. I mean, the more integrated we get with technology, I mean, soon we're going to have contacts that you slip into your eyes. It's going to be like Google contacts. And who the fuck knows what you're doing? You'll be nutting in your goddamn pants while talking on the podcast.
I love how every innovation in technology, Roy will use it
To nut in his pants.
to pleasure himself in some way.
Come on, man. Self-driving cars.
Good night, everybody.
It's not going to free you up. Come on, the whole everything on the internet revolves around porn as it is anyway.
Oh, it's so true.
Everything when Apple decided they weren't going to use I can't remember the whole HTML5 thing, and porn wasn't available.
Oh, Flash.
And thank you. So like all porn went to that, and like all of a sudden Flash just. When was the last time you used Flash? Flash hasn't been a thing in the longest time.
I use it every day.
Shut up! Don't undermine my point, goddammit.
Well, this has been another sexy episode of Modern Retro. We hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to thank Roy and Aaron for their insights, especially Roy. We learned a lot about you tonight.
We'll continue to. No shame.
You can find us at Roy.
www.modernretrocast.com.
Yes, very
we're
good.
on
Very good.
TuneIn. We are on a whole bunch of other things. We're not on Stitcher, though, are we?
We are on Stitcher.
we are on
iTunes, and brand new, we are now on TuneIn. If you're using that, if you have a smart home device such as a Amazon Echo, you can listen to us through that.
That's pretty cool.
And if you are an Android user or even an Apple user, if you go to your App Store or Google Play, you can download the TuneIn app and you can listen to us on there if that is your preferred listening method. We have a YouTube channel, Aaron.
I forget.
Man, I was more ready with it than he was.
I was not ready.
He's the master of the YouTube page.
I know, I haven't. I don't know. Oh no. YouTube.com/modern retro.
You can just say go to our YouTube
cast.com.
page.
I'm looking.
Through our website.
I'm looking. Hold on. Yeah. I mean.
But I'm looking. Anyway, go to modernretrocast.com, and that's pretty much our galactic hub. You can pretty much find everything there. Our Facebook, our YouTube page, our TeePublic. Is it TeePublic?
Yeah.
Our TeePublic. You get T-shirts, all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, we are going to go see Logan this weekend, so be looking for a review for that. Maybe we'll do a video review. I'm not sure, but we'll definitely review that movie. Aaron and I, in about 5 weeks now, are going to be heading to Star Wars Celebration, so we are going to have some content on that leading up. I think Roy came up with a great idea is while we're away, him and my wife should podcast that week. I think that would be great.
She's going to be so fed up with me.
There will be content from us coming out of Celebration, so stay tuned to that. Aaron and I have also bought our Boston Comic-Con tickets for this year. They went on sale today. It's it's March 1st, so you won't hear this for almost a week, but go grab up your tickets. The Boston Comic-Con is going to be really cool this year because it's bought by Fan Expo, so now they're at the Bayside Convention Center, a much larger venue. They have a bigger budget. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I didn't go last year because I'm not going to walk through this cramped hallway and be elbow to elbow with all these smelly people in this tiny place. So it should be better. It should be cool. The guest list is lining up, and they're not sponsored by us at all. If I'm just pushing it because I think it's important to,
because we're geeks, we like to go and we'll bring it to you.
I think it's important to support the local geek happenings here, and the Boston Comic-Con is definitely one thing that we need to keep growing, and we want to have a booth there someday.
Also, so I have some unboxings coming up for YouTube. I have some stuff from Foster Grant that they sent us for like a sunglass box set, and then I have I actually ordered the actual Stan Lee monthly box or bi-monthly box from Stan Lee, not the one powered by Nerd Block, but that thing was I didn't like that thing so much that the things that I got in it could be going as giveaways, or I'll just sell it on eBay and get some money back. So
Either way, someone other than him is gonna have it.
Hawking wares.
Indeed, indeed. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining.
See you later.
bye.
Ooh,